What's up, everybody? This is Taylor Gray, and this is COVID Community, our episode number 6, I believe. I think we're at the point now where we start counting episodes, so that feels really good. Happy to be here with you. I've got my esteemed co-host with me as well. Armand, what's good, bro?
Going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Like, I am the kind of person who's affected by the weather and the seasonal representation of where we are. So the sun is out. It's nice out. It feels good to be outside. So that is affecting my mood. I feel great. How about you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just going outside and like feeling like a warm or like the warmth from the sun mixed with like a cool breeze. Like you can't be in a bad mood after that. So I'm good. I'm super good.
I almost said brother man when you said cool breeze, but if you know, you know.
Like 3 people got excited. That's it.
Yeah, it's all good. They don't need to know if they don't know. Today's podcast is brought to you by the sneaker of the day. I'm gonna struggle to take mine off, and Armand, you're gonna know why I struggle when I show you what I have on.
They gotta know what you're rocking today.
The sneaker of the day is the Yeezy 7. Glow in the dark, but you're not gonna see the glow right now because it's sunny out.
You dirty dog.
Yeah. Hey man, these is one of them ones where I have to really like plan to put them on because it's a lot to put them on. You gotta take them out the bag and all that different stuff. So it is what it is. What you got on? You ready to reach down?
Socks. I got socks on because my joints is at the door. Hold on, they at the door.
Yeah. You know he's got something. He can't do this to us because we all know Armand has something in the bag. So give it to us, bro. What you got?
I unboxed my DMPs already. So DMP 6s. Kept that on because you're supposed to, so people can hear me. I sound like Christmas time. I sound like the Salvation Army.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I'm on that right now.
Amen. Yes, we good. We have special guests with us today. This is the wife edition of COVID Community, the people who complete us biblically and naturally. So this is a pleasure for us to be able to bring in a perspective that's valuable just in general, but also for you guys to hear a woman's perspective is something we think is important. And why not bring people we feel like are going to bring valuable perspective and are trusted companions to share. So I'll introduce my wife, Liz Rose Gray. Say hi to people.
Hello.
That wasn't dramatic at all, but you know, it is what it is.
It wasn't.
Yes.
And my wife. Wow, that's so weird to say, yo.
Yes.
You're supposed to act natural.
Nah. Oh, shut up. I know what that means. My wife, Tonika.
Yes.
Say hi to all the people who are watching that you can't see.
What up, beautiful people?
Is there liquor in that drink?
Maybe. I'm a mom. No, I'm just playing. This is all healthy superfood stuff.
Listen, man, we are grown out here in these streets trying to make it through COVID. So, you know, I ain't mad.
Only toddler ears.
Exactly. We have kids at the crib, y'all, and we are so thankful for this moment to breathe. So praise God for this. Right. So the last time we all hung out together we went to the Anita Baker concert, and we kicked it that night. Kind of kicked it. It would have been dope to kick it more. But I know we're all fans of Anita Baker, and we've been having this versus thing go on these days. So my question for you guys is, if there were like the versus moment and Anita Baker was in one corner, who should or could be in the other corner? Just comparing catalogs. Who's a good match for Anita Baker? I have a vote.
No, I already got one, but I'm gonna let you go first.
No, I don't feel qualified to answer this question.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not a big comparison person. Like, I think everybody has a unique contribution to the music. It's never a fair comparison.
We failed our husbands already on the first question.
I know, right?
We'll talk about
Sorry.
this is who I am.
All right, listen. I got mine. Mine is Tony Braxton.
What? See, this is why I don't do comparison.
It's not about comparing. It's about like hit for hit, go back and forth like songs. I think that would be an enjoyable watch for people.
Tony's first album is amazing, and I don't think it gets like the proper due when people talk about just albums and R&B albums in particular. Her first album, Love Should Have Brought You Home, 7 Whole Days, another sad love song, like top to bottom, it's a great project. So like, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. And then she got joints after that.
You're a Tony Braxton fan.
I am. I'm a fan of all altos out here making a
Alto.
way for us. So
Yes.
She considered an alto?
yes.
Oh, okay. I'm not versed, so I was legit asking.
Yeah.
She got a deep voice.
Her voice is
Yeah.
deep.
She does.
And there's people out here who can really hold it down. So
That's right.
Yeah.
or at least they're not given the opportunity.
Liz is an alto, clearly.
Can you tell?
So
Yeah.
Team Altos.
That was
yes.
My
go ahead.
my pick would be Sade. Even though,
Felt like that was gonna be somebody's.
yeah, even though Sade is technically a band, like Sade is the lead. It's Helen. So I've got Anita Baker and Sade. It's funny, like one of my first Spotify playlists was an Anita Baker versus Sade playlist, and it's like back to back.
Yeah.
And it's about 40, 45 records.
It comes out in the algorithm and the playlist, so yeah.
I guess I was looking for like, because you went for the jugular with Sade. Okay, that's it is the end.
Where was I supposed to go? I wasn't expecting Tony.
Right. I wasn't either.
I
assumed it was gonna be Sade that's usually the two.
I was just trying to throw like a
it was
a quirky kind of take in there. You went like straight there because the way I consider Sade is I think you went vibe. Like what is a similar vibe? Yeah.
Somewhere. I think Sade, well, maybe like in maybe, I don't know, but I do know that Sade can be like depressing and Anita is very much like hopeful and, you know, stuff like, so there is a distinction like outside of like the theoretical aspect of it. You dig a little bit. Sade's sad.
I would go Sade versus Corinne Bailey Rae, but that's just me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to watch that.
See, I have no opinions, just opinions of other people's opinions.
I know, right? You would criticize mine. That was stupid. All right, Tonika, you can just throw anybody in, I guess.
No, I'll pass.
Are you gonna watch the Jill Scott and Erica joint? Was that Friday?
Maybe. I'm not really. I'm a huge Erica fan. Well, once upon a time, I was a huge Erica fan, but not so much Jill Scott. So.
Yeah.
I concur. I mean, I'm a big Jill Scott fan, but
like, cause
I probably listen to Erica more on rotation.
Yeah, Jill has a beautiful voice and a nice catalog. That just wasn't my vibe. Like Erica Badu got
T.
Huh?
The Drake line, it's okay.
Yeah. It's more like of a hip hop R&B neo soul vibe versus Jill Scott it's not really my lane.
Yep.
Liz ain't gonna tell the story about how I rebuked her for some of her, music dealings back then. That's a whole nother conversation.
Tried to make me break Miseducation in half, and that wasn't happening.
Oh yeah.
So
let's move on. So let me ask y'all this: Are y'all into the Enneagram at all? Are you into the Enneagram, my wife?
Seeing as I talk to you about it all the time, yes.
For the people.
Currently reading a book about it right now. Yes, I am.
Okay. What is so intriguing about it to you?
I think out of all of the personality testing that has become faddish, Enneagram goes a lot deeper. There's spiritual connections, and they actually talk about real psychology. They go back to stuff that formed you as a child, deal with the way that you responded to trauma. And I also think that they highlight the virtue and the vice of your personality, not just the things that people will like about you or the world perceives you, but how you perceive the world, and how God has innately made you that way, which I feel like is really important. Yeah.
Dope. I'm a 1, and you are a.
I'm a 9, wing 1.
I'm a 1 wing too.
Can y'all describe your, like, what's associated with your numbers? What's the title associated with your number?
Yeah. I think mine is called like the perfectionist, or
Depending on which website you look at, yeah. So you're perfectionist, and some will call you the reformer.
I'm the reformer. Yes, I like that better.
Yeah, but perfectionist is maybe the more consistent one you'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are
I'm a 9, which is the peacemaker. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Pull up your phone.
I don't remember.
So when we took our we took one of our marriage counseling like sessions or whatever, they had us like do the test. I want to say I was a 2 or a 7.
Oh, a 2 is a helper. The 2 is the helper.
No, I was a helper.
Okay, you were 2 and 7. All right, so I got ours confused. I don't remember what mine was.
The 7, I think, is the adventurer.
The enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
You're an
Enthusiast.
Okay, so I was a
7 friends and family. So.
I'm trying to read Armand right now. You the enthusiast, bro?
The titles do not give an accurate.
I was about to say something, but that conversation is offline.
Okay.
We have some enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Was that 3? You said I was a 3?
I want to say, well, I think investigator was in there because they talked about like between 3 and 5 and how those are like really goal driven achievers, really critical, like get it done. That's not under the bus, like critical, like you analyze.
Well, yeah. Know you so deeply now. Yeah.
You listen to my podcast. If you listen to more than 2 episodes, like,
right?
It is what it is.
100%.
My other podcast.
So what do you guys think about these like tests and how people use them? Do you buy into them much at all? I ask you guys, like, clearly you didn't come away like I'm going to hold on to my category, like so how do you feel?
I think it's a great tool when you consider getting context for how a person moves and what motivates them. I think the danger in those types of tools is like people like take them as law, and like that is the go-to for anything. Well, it's because that's my, remember, this is my personality type. Remember, this is my number. And it doesn't, it can have the ability or opportunity to like box out God and like some of those nuances in those places for healing or adjustment. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Per se.
It could become a or
yes.
Take it too deep, and then they're just like relying on the commentary, like, tell me what I am.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Or they use it to justify behavior, like, oh, I'm this way, but similar to what people do with astrology. Like, I'm this way because I'm a Leo. I was born in April.
Well,
I'm passionate.
That's it's kind of accurate, but it's just illegal access. But that's another story.
But yeah, like, but here's my thing. Like, I've never followed horoscopes enough to like really test their accuracy. I've never followed them enough because technically, like the horoscope says, I'm a Gemini, but then of course, you get into the conversation about astrology and witchcraft and all that different stuff. But I just wonder, like, if you just say enough things about a person, then it just feels like it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just say a bunch of stuff.
Dog.
Like
Super blankety statements, yo.
In general, like, oh, something good will happen to you on Tuesday this week. Like, that could have been me waking up to, like, having a good bowl of cereal. I don't know. Like,
right.
People, self-fulfilling prophecy, like, stuff. So
yeah, everybody wants to be a prophet on some level.
Yeah. But that's what I feel like the distinction is with this one. They don't really recommend the testing for Enneagram because it's not based on how you feel that day. You're gonna answer those questions differently. So say read about it, figure out what sounds most like you. And one commentator I heard said, like, whatever offends you the most is probably closer to what you truly are. Like than the ones that you want to be. Like when you get on my business, that's probably you. So
we saw that with Armand just about 2 minutes ago. So you gonna throw me under the bus?
There's no bad numbers. They all can bring glory to God in some way.
Oh man. Okay.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. We'll close that chat.
Let the peacemaker move back.
Yeah. Nah. So I just had a general question, and Liz and I have been talking about this for so long. And I guess I'll rephrase my original question. What do you guys think? Do you guys have anything to say to help us as men interact with feminism? Like, what should we think about it? Just in general, should we just be like, nah, no, get away, like that's the devil? Or should we like consider some things more closely and be open a little bit more?
Liz, would you like to do the honors of?
I gotta be the one.
We need this to have some. We need to have some controversy. So
I have some thoughts about it. I can go first if you.
I think it's hard for me to respond to that question because there's so many things. I am a textbook definition person, which we have discussed and comes up as a problem sometimes when we're having social interaction conversations. And so if you look at the definition of what feminism really is, it's just the belief that women are equal to men. And I would say wholeheartedly, yes, we were all made and created equally. Now, the way that feminism is socially defined looks different from community to community. And so in your interaction with it, I would say get clarity what people mean when they use the term. There's I just want women to be able to walk the streets without fear, feminist. I was like, and then there's I wish all men would be shipped off somewhere else, feminist. And you can encounter all types. So don't just label, when somebody has the label of a feminist, don't assume that they hate men or that they wish ill towards maleness.
That's really good.
That's good counsel. Thank you. I needed to hear that.
I think just to like expound on that a little more is like considering no matter which category of feminists you're interacting with or engaging, realizing that comes from experience of trauma or some type of brokenness. So you can have somebody that's really hostile, or you can have somebody that's really warm and like wants you to understand more about where they're coming from, but just keeping that in perspective as well, that this comes from a place of experience of dealing with some type of traumatic experience, firsthand or secondhand, or some type of brokenness. It's like, I want to be heard, I want to be seen, I want to be even, I want to be equal. Mm. The essence of that is not a bad thing.
Yeah. That's real.
Mm. Well, I thought one of y'all was gonna say feminists came from white women, but y'all didn't want to go there today. You know. Yeah, go ahead, Tonika. Say yes.
Do I want to go there?
You've been holding back this whole episode already. Like we 10 minutes in, you already
Throw me out there like that.
Yeah. Because I want you to. I'd like for you to speak on these things because you articulate your point.
Dang. When I'm trying to like think of like where to even go with that, because you know sometimes when I get into these conversations and like the emotional part of it, I get like really revved up. I get passionate. My hands start, going everywhere. But I just really have a heart for Black love. And I'll tie this all together. And I just, when I consider like the attacks on many different levels that happens for Black people, socially, emotionally, spiritually, like the constructs and everything associated, like what it means to be Black, and specifically to be Black in America. Feminism to me is an attack of Black love and Black men, and the original design that God had in place when he said, I made men and I made you in my image. And when I consider like the plight of what it looks like to be a Black couple or a Black woman, oh man, like the partnerships and the access that we have. And then you have like all of these different voices and movements that's saying, no, this deserves your attention. No, a man has to be A, B, C, D, E, for it to be something worthy of your time or attention. It's not even realistic. Like, yeah. I just, yeah.
That's good. That's good. That makes me feel better for being the rapper that said in one of my songs, I am not a feminist. I believe that everything was beautiful back in Genesis because that's what God made. God literally made that, and it's not an attack on terminology, it's an attack on the effect. But I also received what y'all said earlier, that this could be people working out trauma.
Yeah.
And then there's not everybody means what they say, but there's definitely a larger social construct behind this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I have found some encouragement in the term womanist, but that's just me going into my study and further investigation bag.
Yeah, I mean, it was a break off from the feminist movement, primarily by Black women, because we weren't being represented, or we were being made to choose, as usual, between what it means to be safe as a woman and what it means to be safe as a Black person, and which one of those needs to take precedence for the good of mankind, and therefore is put upon our backs again to pave the way for somebody else. And I think that that's a real concern with the feminist movement, which has, again, been brought to light pretty consistently, I think, especially as we were seeing Black bodies dropping because of women's voices. So having to be very careful about the way that we tag along in movements. Nothing outside of what God has ordained is going to be perfect, and therefore it's going to have some fallout for somebody at some point.
Yeah. So Armand, you ready to write Woke 2? with touching on this joint.
Yeah, I gotta wake up a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't really my bag. This is like, it's so layered and so deep that I'm not well versed on it. But yeah, if you want to do a part 2 and you want to do like a spoken word piece at the beginning or something.
I'm not doing no spoken word.
All Black women who think about this deeply have spoken word pieces in the tub.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I found Liz's old spoken word.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about it.
I'm not gonna quote from it, but it was there. It was.
She said, "No, you're not."
You were about to add something, and I'm curious what you want to say. Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I was saying that to say I'm still listening to perspective, and I've just learned, you know, through my other podcasts with someone who does not look like me or come from the same, you know, environment as me, that like I gotta hear, you know, theologian Shorty Lowe said, you know, must be two sides. So I gotta hear both sides of the spectrum. You won't laugh, I know you do. You gotta hear both sides of the spectrum and gather information before I just jump out the window. I'm not trying to be the person, you know, in this information age where everybody's a know-it-all. The minute something happens, everybody has an immediate solution, an opinion, a perspective, and everybody's right. You know what I'm saying? I've just learned to kind of chill and listen to people, and sometimes just standing next to someone who's smarter than me, who's more well-versed in those things. Like, I don't need to have an opinion or formulate one until, you know, I need to.
You're very smart.
Thanks.
That's definitely wise. I mean, that's what I got from your record, bro. Is, you know, if everybody's woke and I'm asleep, like I need some rest to recalibrate and to ultimately be assured in who I am before somebody else try to tell me who I am. So
yeah. That was like a double entendre also to Liz's point. You know, words mean things. I always tell people that. I tell my kids that all the time. Words mean things. So if this is the definition of wokeness and Blackness, and it is like this unspoken thing that it's a monolith, you know what I'm saying? And there's very little room to differentiate outside of that. And if you don't line up with all the things that, you know, line up with that particular ideology and that definition, then all of a sudden you're a sellout. You're,
right.
You know, I don't even want to call it Uncle Tom, because Uncle Tom isn't what, you know, the definition is, stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, that then you're just out. And I'm just like, if that's the case, I'm such a contrarian that like, even if I agree, if you're forcing me to agree, I'm just going to be like, I'm not about to stand next to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rolling. Like, that's corny. That's corny to me.
That sounds familiar, Liz.
The investigator, yes.
Yes, we're back to the Enneagram.
He's well studied.
Coming through.
Y'all got me wanting to redo ours just so I know, and I want to like research what that really means. You know what I'm saying? I just like Liz's definition of like explain, because the way it was explained to us, it was like astrology for Christians, and I was like, so I didn't really pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? But the way you explained it, it's like, okay, there's some weight to that. Let me investigate further.
Bruh, the messenger matters for sure.
Yeah.
Like, so crazy.
Because I feel like when y'all first introduced me to it, I was not interested. Like, yeah, okay.
There's no way to really talk about it without making it weird at first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, like, the name itself, y'all into the Enneagram?
No,
Damn. Like, you know, that just makes me tired, like, hearing it. Like, when somebody first...
The pentagram?
Like,
no.
Right, man. Like, I'm done already. I don't need this.
Holiness.
But it's good. It's good. So I think I want to just kind of ask a couple more quick questions. Like what's our diets looking like during this COVID situation? Like, do you feel like we should be paying more attention to what we eat and what we're doing to ourselves? I know I am. I feel convicted, so I'm just asking.
That was to me.
It's too, I'm swiveling.
Oh.
But yes, actually, you came out earlier as I think you spoke about your drink in such a way that indicated that it was it was yes.
Tell
Yes.
people what's in the drink before you just say like red stuff. Like what's in it, and why did you put all that together?
There you go.
So sometimes when I put this stuff together, it's like muscle memory, and I've been doing it so much, I just throw stuff in there. But so with you asking me that, I literally had to like pause and think like, wow, what did I put in here? So I have like a liquid form of some herbs for energy. I can't remember what they are, so I can't tell you the name of them. And then organic frozen fruits, because I only do organic produce just because of all like the pesticides and chemicals that they use. And like soaking the vegetables doesn't change like the internal composition of like what's soaked in the fruit or vegetable.
They were growing it.
So is it expensive to put the right things in your body? Would you say that?
When I first started like this health food journey, I thought it was expensive. And then once I actually like looked at the numbers, no, it's not. Because a lot of times, like, especially like my recommendation is like cutting out animal products for like a couple days of the week. Like if eating meat is your thing, like meat is expensive. Like meat is not cheap. And if you're replacing eating meat with vegetables, if you're paying more for that, you're going to the wrong place and getting ripped off. Or we could be like Liz and grow our own things. That's goals.
That's where I'm coming to. So what would you say was your inspiration to just start going ahead and making it something that you put in your backyard?
We had hippie neighbors for the first couple years of our marriage, actually, and they were my inspiration. Like, I mean, I don't think they were vegetarians, and they grew like almost everything in Lowe's buckets in the back of their house. And so I learned a lot from just watching them and talking to them. And it did seem economical. I was like, why am I spending this kind of money on produce when I could just be growing tomatoes for the entire year for like 99 cents for a pack of seeds? So,
right.
I'm the type of person, like, I don't really like to do crafty things unless there's a reward at the end. Like, I actually have a product that I want, not just something to gift my grandma. Like, so I felt like gardening made a whole lot of sense to get out my creative energy, but also have some result from it.
It's delightful.
Delightful.
Yeah. How are those garden veggies? Is there a difference?
Right now, we're still in the spring cool season, so it's a lot of leafy greens, lettuces, kale. I didn't really get the broccoli and Brussels sprouts that I wanted this year just because the weather wasn't cooperative. But yeah, I have kale for days.
We are your kale plug.
We are. If you need kale. And I don't just have a backyard garden. I also work in a community garden that is more of like a farm that anyone can come and harvest from. Like, you don't have to do anything, just come get vegetables. And it's because we live in a food insecure neighborhood. It was one of the things that we've tried to do to make stuff accessible to people.
Food insecure, is that the new way to say food desert?
They're all in the same.
Food insecure?
Yes, that's what it means when
I never thought, like, just working in social work, I'm just used to that word, but like Taylor, like, laughing at it, it's just that is kind of weird. Like, you're
insecure.
Well,
the food is insecure, or we're insecure, or
the people are food insecure because they don't have access. Like, the area itself is a food desert, and the families are food insecure. Is that helpful? Rather than calling them hungry.
Rather than doing the easy thing, we call them food insecure. They're hungry.
They might not be hungry, though. They have a McDonald's, a Rally's, a Church's, and a Burger King within walking distance, but not a grocery store. So
If you eating at churches, you hungry.
Church is popping out here.
That's the
Churches
only.
is still open.
Yes, the churches over there.
Oh,
Churches
I'm
is terrible.
I'm probably offending people, but learning at the same time. But I don't care. All I want to say is to our viewers, we said that we are the plug to these two. We are not your plug. So,
we still gonna get hit up.
yeah, you can hit us up if you like, but I'll take a picture of it and send it to you and say, we are not your plug.
These show are good. Some good greens.
I'll send a video to you, and it'll be awesome. But it's going in my stomach. So, lastly, let me just conclude. Man, this is dope. Like, I love having y'all here. This is what's up. I like this. What's something you guys have learned during this COVID crisis or this era of coronavirus? Coronavirus, it's real.
I feel like everyone's looking at me.
Anything?
Somebody. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah,
There is.
it is. I've learned how quickly we revert to our worst instincts.
Okay.
People in general, like when restrictions went into place, when folks started talking about ways to protect themselves, like first thing you could not get were groceries, toilet paper. I'm like, really? This is in one of the most affluent countries in the world. We still feel like we have to snatch and grab. So it was a little, predictable, but also discouraging.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
I think my lesson in all of this is like the importance of being prepared in a really practical way. As a believer, we just talk about all of these spiritual weapons that we need to, be prepared. But it's like, there was lots of people who were missing the mark with supplies and food. And like, even when I went to the grocery store, when all of this happened, I was looking at people's grocery carts and I was like, you're going to die from that food, not the coronavirus.
That's kill you.
Oh, like that's what you're going to be sitting in the house doing nothing, quarantined with, like. So I guess like in addition to that, like the importance of being prepared, like we really have an opportunity to like share about just wellness, just in general, and not even from a vain perspective, because I can see a lot of health crises coming out of this, and like not related to COVID directly. That's my health tangent.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good perspective. I don't know if enough people are talking about that. Well, I don't really have much to add to that. I think that's good for us to think about, for real. Like, I don't know if we, it's funny because I was watching, we can't put a timestamp on this necessarily, but it's funny, like watching Black people this past weekend, and how we just got a little bit of liberty, and we was like, we finna live today and like experience life, like, and it was beautiful to see, to me, like just kind of like the blatant display of I'm finna live out here. Like, I'm not about to just take away my sanity, my joy, or nothing. And it was just kind of like this open declaration to say, like, we're resilient. You know what I mean? Like you thought you had us with this whole thing, and we're actually thriving, at least in this moment. And that seems like that's kind of our thing, is thriving in the moment. I'm a stunt right now. I'm gonna do it to death. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make this a big thing. But it was kind of the timing of that cultural expression that I think picked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was always wise. I'm just saying mean, look, man, we are who we are. Like, forget that. Like, you know, people be. I'm not gonna go there. People be.
Cass was outside skating.
Yeah.
I wish I could have
backwards
that.
together.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like living. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people just accept life as if you have to walk through life with a wedgie. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, like you don't have to do that. Like, you can wear comfortable pants. You feel me? Like, but
take the analogy all the way there.
I'm in a mood today. But you know, if y'all hear this background noise, just know we in the field, we in the hood. They building streets and doing all kind of stuff. But I don't know if y'all can hear us. But
Nah, we can't hear none of that.
okay, dope.
Yeah, Zoom filtering all that out. We got a bunch of trees like outside of our balcony, so we hear birds.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's nice.
That's peaceful. Yeah. The
Birds
sides,
fly
This
out the window.
compactor driving down the street.
the sides of
Wow.
town we are on. Like, yeah, we're safe.
Yes.
Well, yo, I'm gonna wrap it up right there. I think this is dope. Man, I wish we could just. I don't know if Armand and I haven't talked about how long we're gonna keep this going, but you know, if that does, I guess, happen, then we have maybe ideas of recurring guests. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's convenient to have y'all join us, and also I think helpful.
Oh, we just convenient, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I said also helpful.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Reoccurring, you know, Waldo wasn't on every episode of Family Matters.
That's right. We had to miss him. And I never missed Waldo, but I get it. Like,
Yeah, man. Weasel was on a couple episodes.
Weasel.
Too. Weasel. Yo, why were Eddie's best friends named Waldo and Weasel?
Wow, bro. Like, and that was supposed to be like, hey, don't hang out with those guys. They're trouble. Like,
Waldo and Weasel.
Weasel's always into something wrong. Like,
Always.
oh, man. All right, listen. This has been COVID Community. Thank you to our beautiful guests. We hope you guys are doing well, thriving emotionally, spiritually, and now we're talking about physically in terms of what you're eating. I know I got convicted. So I'll be revisiting some things, but y'all have a good one. Peace.